Welcome back to my channel. In this video I'm going to do what I always do, and that is to talk about the books I've read this month. So I always do this, I always go through the books I've read, and I feel like it's a good exercise. It makes me reflect once more of the books I've read. Also, it sort of reinforces the books into my body and brain. Not that I really need it. It's like the books I liked will stay with me, the books I didn't like will probably disappear, and the ones that I truly hated will appear in my brain sometimes and I'll get irritated. So there is no bigger point, but it's nice to know the books a little bit better, I guess. This month has been pretty fun. I got the new Murakami novel from the publisher and I reviewed it in a separate video, and I am doing my first ever giveaway, so that's pretty exciting. So if you're interested in a Norwegian tote bag, Murakami tote bag, you can go over to that video, subscribe to this channel if you're not already subscribed, and leave a comment and you'll be in the draw for one of the tote bags, or drawing. You'll have a chance. That's all I'm saying. So I do have a separate review you can check out. I really liked it, but the start was kind of confusing, and I guess a lot of the comments that have come now are related to Kafka on the Shore and similarities between this one and other of his books. I haven't yet read a Murakami novel that has been this weird or this difficult to get into, but after the first part it all makes more sense, or even though it doesn't make sense, it's at least more recognizable Murakami, and I ended up really liking this novel. At this point I just assume that I'm going to read all of his books, so if you're interested in more of my thoughts, just jump over to the other video. Then I finally finished a book on my Kindle, and it's How to Survive in Medieval England by Toni Mount. It's a book that has been ongoing for months. It's like if you have a non-fiction book on the Kindle, it's very easy to jump in and out, and it feels like it's easy to do so, and thus it takes a lot of time sometimes. I've done this several times where I've spent months with a book and it doesn't feel like it matters, because it's not like you have to remember stuff, you just have to enjoy the ride. And I did. It's informative and funny, but it falls between those two categories. So for me it was humorous at times and also a little bit informative, but other than that it's can't I get a little bit more of any of those two things? That would be nice, but I did enjoy it. I guess before I started reading that novel, I was sort of prepared to read a novel about a society where it's not really a society, it's just brutal mayhem and unorganized. But it seems like there is actually a plan behind some aspects of life, and things have their reasons, but still it's hard to relate. But a fun read, and if you liked medieval ages, I would really recommend it. Then it's the second novel in the series by Solvej Balle called On the Calculation of Volume. This book was sent to me by the publisher, and the three first books in this series won the Nordic Council Literature Prize in 2022, and well, they're really fascinating. And I've started book number 3 now, and I am enjoying that one as well. It's about this woman that's stuck in time. She is experiencing the same day over and over again, so pretty Groundhog Day, but it doesn't remind you of Groundhog Day at all. And in this one, it's it seems like they all have their focus, or their what's the word? Maybe it's relevant to say that she has hang-ups on different things from each book, but as I said, I've only read the 2. But at least in this one, it's all about seasons and experiencing time changes in the physical way and how she thinks about it. And this is it's not supposed to be my kind of read. It's super, super slow, so this whole book is about how she feels days change and how she thinks about the future. But it makes you, myself, think about the same things, and I'm just enjoying it. To me, the second novel felt a little bit more philosophical than the first one, but it also brings a lot of questions about things she has carrying with her and how they survive from day to day. And some items might disappear, but some other items might stay. It's a bit unclear, and my mind keeps both wondering, and a little bit of irritation is also in the mix. Also, she has a lot of, or she doesn't have a lot of them, she has cliffhangers sometimes that makes me really want to read the third book, which as I said, I'm well on my way in that adventure. Then it's Oskar og jeg by Maria Parr. This was sent to me by the publisher, and I believe the English title, or at least it translates to something like Oskar and I. I wanted this book after reading Maria Parr's Tonje Glimmerdal last year or earlier this year, can't remember. Absolutely loved it, and this, I just needed to read this as well. It's about these two siblings where she is 9 and he is 5, I think, and they are experiencing something major in their life, and they deal with it in their own ways. Something happens to the family, and I guess the main theme is death, and also how she takes care of him, even though he doesn't need to be annoying. He's just a little brother that she has to take care of, and that is not always as easy as one might think, or at least she thinks it should have been easier. So that's basically the plot. It's kind of different from Tonje Glimmerdal in that it doesn't have like a good cop, bad cop sort of vibe to it. It hasn't got a storyline with a lot of unknown factors. It's more their relationship and how they deal with stuff. And it's really heartwarming, cozy. Their relationship is really sweet, and I feel like that's the best thing about it. It's how they are together and how they behave towards each other. It's sort of the sweetness of it all, and the thing I enjoyed. If I had a vote, I would have liked to have a little bit more direction and a little bit more action, but then again, it doesn't feel like that kind of book. Then over to another Nordic Council Literature Prize winner. It's Among the Trees by Gyrðir Elíasson. This is a collection of 47 short stories about ordinary life and not so ordinary life. This might be one of the most difficult books to talk about, and that's the reason is that it's like many of these stories are 3 or 4 pages. It's like a glimpse of a story and then it disappears, and that I really struggled to get into it. It's like, how do you just sit and read like 47 separate stories in a row? It felt like I could have read one of these stories, then read a whole new book and done that for a year or so to get more out of it, because my concentration is not capable of doing it like this. That's all I'm saying. At times it felt a little bit more like Murakami, because it's not like they are everyday stories. It's everyday stories, and then you meet a dead author, or you feel like a dead author is sleeping in your bed together with you. It has like a surreal and magical thing to it, but it's just a few of the stories. So there's a ton of surprises when that happens. I think that's it. It's a difficult read just because how do you read it? My last read for this month was also difficult to read, but for a whole nother reason. I made a short video about this. It's a book about 2 teenagers in Japan in the 90s. They are both bullied at it's brutal stuff. This book should come with a whole lot of trigger warnings, and it made me sad to read. How do you talk about a book that made you really, really sad? Well, it's a good thing about a book that it can evoke emotion in your body, but like sadness, if sadness is all there is it really a good reading experience? It doesn't feel like it. At the same time, this book will probably live with me forever. It will haunt me because it's really terribly sad. It's also a very short novel, so it's not like it doesn't take a lot of time. It's just like a needle penetrating your head with sadness. And yeah, it makes you think about this stuff happening to kids all over the world all the time, so that doesn't make things better, I guess. Not at all, when I think about it. So these were my April reads. If you're interested in the Murakami tote bag, please head on over to my Murakami review video. And I'm hoping that spring will come to Norway soon. I hope spring has come where you live, and that you're happy and enjoying life. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye.